If you've ever tried to run an air conditioner off a solar power system, you probably know that incredibly frustrating moment when everything just dies. It's a super common problem, and in this explainer, we're going to get to the very bottom of exactly why that happens. Okay, so I want to kick this off with a statement that might sound completely backward to you. Most of us, we just assume the AC is a power hog, and that's the end of the story. But the truth is actually way more interesting, and it has almost nothing to do with total energy use. And there it is. That's a whole secret right there. The real culprit isn't the hours of cooling. It's what happens in the blink of an eye when that unit first kicks on. That single second is what makes or breaks your entire system. That's the big question, isn't it? What is going on in that 1 second? That is the mystery we're going to solve today. We're going to look at the physics, the chain reaction of failure, and, most importantly, how to actually build a system that can handle it. All right, so first, let's just talk about the typical advice you hear. Because if you've ever looked this up, you've probably been told a few simple fixes that, well, they just don't tell the whole story. Yeah, you've probably heard all of these, right? Oh, you just need a bigger inverter. Just add more batteries. Or you should have bought one of those high-efficiency ACs. And look, none of this is exactly bad advice, but it totally misses the root cause of the failure. It's like treating the symptoms without ever diagnosing the disease. This right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the misunderstanding. The myth is that you just don't have enough energy stored up, but the reality is your system is failing to deliver the power it needs instantly. See, it's not a capacity issue, it's a critical response time issue. So, if it's not about the amount of energy, then what's really going on? Well, let's pull back the curtain and unmask the real culprit behind all these shutdowns, the startup surge. Deep inside every single air conditioner is a compressor, and that compressor is a specific type of motor called an induction motor. This one piece of hardware, well, it's the source of our entire problem. So this brings us to a really important term, locked rotor condition. For just a split second, when you turn that AC on, the motor inside isn't moving. To overcome that standstill and get spinning, it draws an absolutely massive, instantaneous jolt of electricity. We're talking many, many times its normal running current. Here is the absolute best way to think about it. That startup surge isn't a normal load, like turning on a light bulb. It's a sudden, violent electrical shock that hits your inverter, your batteries, and all your wiring at the exact same time. So how does this one little surge cause a complete system meltdown? Let's slow down that first second and look at the whole chain reaction, literally millisecond by millisecond. It all happens this fast. The AC kicks on, demanding that huge surge. Your inverter scrambles to provide it, yanking a massive amount of current from your batteries. The batteries just can't handle it. Either their internal safety system, the BMS, slams on the brakes to prevent damage, or their voltage just completely collapses. And without stable voltage from the batteries, the inverter starves and shuts down. Boom. Game over. And here's why it is so maddening. If your system almost has enough juice, the AC will shut off, the system voltage will recover for a second, and then the AC tries to start again, creating the exact same surge and another shutdown. You get stuck in this vicious loop of failure, and it can be incredibly damaging. But a simple shutdown isn't the only problem. This electrical shockwave that we're talking about, it has some pretty serious hidden dangers that can degrade your expensive equipment over time. Think of it this way. Every single failed startup attempt is like a body blow to your system. It is not a harmless event. Each one of those surges creates stress, it generates heat in places that shouldn't be hot, and it just speeds up the wear and tear on your entire investment. This table breaks it down perfectly. The battery's management system sees a huge overcurrent and shuts down to protect the cells. The inverter sees the DC voltage from the battery just collapse, so it shuts down to protect itself. And your wiring and fuses, they get hit with this massive inrush current, which can lead to overheating or just fuses blowing for no apparent reason. Every single part of the system is under attack. And I really, really want to emphasize this point. If the wiring in your system isn't thick enough to handle these massive split-second spikes, it will heat up. And over time, that repeated heating can degrade the insulation and become a very serious, very hidden fire hazard. This isn't just about convenience, it's a critical safety issue. Okay, enough of the doom and gloom. Now that we understand the problem inside and out, let's talk about the solution. How do we actually build a system that can handle an air conditioner? Well, it requires a complete shift in how you think about design. This brings us to the new golden rule. Stop thinking about kilowatt hours. Stop designing for the total amount of energy you need in a day. You have to design a system that can survive 1 second of absolute maximum electrical stress. That's the whole game. And here's your new checklist for success. You need to look at the inverter's surge rating, not just its continuous running watts. You have to know your battery's maximum discharge current. That's often called its C rate. Your wiring absolutely must be sized for that peak surge current, not the average load. And all your projection systems need to be smart enough to tell the difference between a dangerous short circuit and a normal momentary startup surge. Seriously, if you take only one single thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Sizing your system based on the AC's running watts is the single biggest and most common mistake you can make. You have to design for the surge. And so that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When you look at your own setup, or maybe the one you're planning on building, ask yourself this. Is it designed to handle a brief, violent electrical shock? Or is it just designed to handle a simple, steady load? The answer to that question is the difference between success and a whole lot of frustration. And of course, before you make any changes, just an important reminder. This kind of electrical work is dangerous. Always consult a qualified professional. We made this explainer for educational purposes, and we really hope it helps you build a smarter, more robust system.